Now, let's create our first Vue component. Just as everything is contained on a single page here, we will be creating a single Vue component to contain everything as well. So let's start by creating a components directory inside the JS directory. Then inside the components directory, we'll create our first component, which will be tasks.vue. We will be making use of Vue 3 script setup. The component is going to accept an array of tasks as prop. Because we are making use of script setup, we will need to make use of define props to define our props. So define props. Then inside here is where we'll define the prop, which we will call task. And it's going to be a type of array. And it's going to be required. We can destructure the task. So const task. We are going to copy the markup from the edge file. Of course, we need to tweak it to be Vue compatible. So let's get rid of the tags. Then we can do v4 task in tasks. Let's also get the index. The key will be the index. For now, I'm going to comment this out, as well as this. This will remain the same. Since Adonis and Vue use the same syntax for interpolation, then we can use class binding here. So we add the class completed if the task has been marked as completed. Lastly, we want to render this only if there are tasks. So we're going to have a if check here. First, let's wrap this inside a template tag. Then on the template is where we add view if, which we simply check the length of the array of tasks if it is greater than 0. So tasks.length greater than 0. Let's also have a fallback in case there are no tasks. So template. On the template, we'll add view else. So if there are tasks, we'll display the tasks. Otherwise, we'll display a message that says no tasks. Now we need to make use of this component. But before we can do that, we need to first register it. So inside app.js, import tasks from components/tasks. We can leave out the extension. Next, we'll register the component. So this will be an object that takes the list of components we want to register. In our case, we only have just one, so tasks. Now we can make use of the component in the edge file. I'm going to comment this out. Then here we will make use of the view component. Remember, the component takes in a required prop, so we need to pass it along. On this view, we already have access to the array of tasks because if you look at the task controller, the task is passed down to the view. So all we need to do now is pass it as the value of the prop. But we can't just do tasks because remember, task here is an array of the task model. So we need a way to convert it to an array of plain objects. There are two ways we can go about that. So we can do json.stringify or make use of the AdonisJS stringify helper, which is what we are going to do. Now if we compile this, if we head over to the browser, we should see the components rendered, and sure we do. Let's refresh this to make sure that this is actually working. Of course, we don't have any task for now. By the way, behind the scenes, I have created an account and I have logged in. Because the way the application is built, you need to be logged in to be able to view this page. Just to be sure that we can actually display tasks. I'm going to head over to my database and manually create a task. The user ID will be 1 and the title will be, say, some task. Then the completed will be false, that is 0. And the created at time will be now. Same thing for the updated at. Then I will save to persist. So now we have one record. If we head back to the browser and refresh this, we should see the task, and sure we do. In the next lesson, we will look at how to add tasks from the application instead of having to go through the database.